Just me, a place to be me, where you get to experience life. 'Cause life is a journey, not a guided tour. If you want the rainbow, you have to go through the rain.
Welcome back, fam, to another episode of Just Me Podcast, your go to space for truth telling, healing, and mental wellness. I'm Tracy.
I'm Sasha.
And I'm Sharina, and together we hold space for real conversations that move us towards wholeness.
And this week's episode is entitled When Gender Meets Culture, Intersectionality and Mental Health. And we're leaning all the way in today because culture and gender don't exist in isolation, they shape one another.
So let's break it down. Intersectionality. What is intersectionality? It's about how different parts of our identity, like race, gender, class, and culture, interact to create unique experiences.
Exactly. Just think about it. Being a Black woman isn't just being Black or just being a woman. It's the overlap that creates a specific lens. Just think about that for a second. It's the overlap that creates a specific lens. And same goes for men and non-binary people. Culture and gender are deeply intertwined.
And in many communities of color, there are strict gender roles and expectations, sometimes rooted in tradition, sometimes survival, that shape how masculinity and femininity are expressed.
And these roles can bring pride, but they can also bring pressure. So, like, for example, if a man is raised to never cry, or a woman is raised to always sacrifice, what does that do for their mental health?
So let's look at some real life examples. In some Latino and Black households, when it comes to us as women, because I'm Black, we were taught to be caretakers from a young age. And what happens is that as we continue to grow older, and I can say this for myself, I still identify in that role as a caretaker. I did it at a younger age, so it's embedded in me. And as an adult, I'm still doing the same thing. And when you think about young boys, they're often taught independence, where at times they do not depend on people for assistance, even at the expense of emotional literacy, like really figuring out how to deal with your emotions. And most of the time, when it comes to men, as we discussed in last episode, they don't express those emotions.
Yeah, and definitely culture shapes gender, and we see it played out a lot out in counseling when they come into the office. Like I said in the last episode, men come in and say like I don't do feelings, and women say I take care of everyone else but me, and I'm definitely guilty of that. And those patterns aren't accidental to their culture. Like say growing up, by the age of 10, I already knew how to do everything but balance a checkbook. Was going to the laundry. It was a family of five. I was going to the laundromat at 10 years old, washing clothes, doing dishes, doing chores, taking care of the house. Like culture teaches you how to do it. And that's what we were bred to do.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's about how you balance those experiences as you continue to go and move throughout the world. So, and when we layer on religion, economics, your status as far as immigration, it can get even more complex. So cultural values can become invisible blueprints for how we should quote unquote act, and then they can suffocate our true authenticity. Um, how we want to do things, how we feel, how we want to express ourselves, or maybe what's been going on inside of us.
And as you discuss those things, it really tells us that mental health often takes a backseat in cultures where being strong or keeping it in the family are the norm. And these are things that we were taught. Be strong, be resilient, What goes on in the family stays in the family and it end up being our norm. Is that healthy? No, not at times, because as we express, we're not, expressing our emotions, we're not expressing our feelings. And as we already know, when it comes to therapy, it's seen as a weakness and it's seen as very shameful. And that really needs to change in this year, 2025, because at times a lot of people that come in for therapy express that this is not their norm and they feel very shameful just to come and receive help.
So what do we do with all of this? Like I believe that first we have to normalize the conversations and like let folks or let people know that it's okay to honor your culture and challenge what no longer serves you.
Absolutely. Honor your culture, but change and challenge what no longer serves you. And that's where authenticity comes into play. So,
Mhm.
healing doesn't mean rejecting your roots, it means examining them, figuring out what has been serving you and what's keeping you healthy, and then reworking some of those harmful and hurtful tendencies.
And with all that you all express, that could look like going to therapy, receiving help. And also, some of the things that we teach in therapy to help you is have boundaries, learning how to have boundaries, learning how to have effective communication styles, being able to be aware of your emotions, naming them out. Oh, and once we start doing those things, what a revolutionary change that will happen in our families.
Mhm.
And I like to say most definitely, like say, honor your culture and your challenge. So representation matters. And I know we get phone calls. You want to go to someone because we're really promoting like therapy that you want to see people that look like you. So when people see therapists or leaders or creators who look like them, speak their language and understand their story, healing feels more accessible. So when you are looking to reach out, I know say it is common to you want to find if you African American, you usually like say I would prefer African American therapist because they can relate more than someone not of that African American and whether other cultures as well. So you do have that flexibility when you're going out there in search of.
Okay. We're all layered, guys, and we can't heal if we don't face what we are trying to right the wrongs for. So today we invite you to reflect on the cultural scripts that you've inherited in your life and ask, does this support my well being? Does my cultural script support my well being? Does my role of being a caretaker and putting myself last, as far as self care, as far as taking care of other people, is that serving me right now? Is that script serving me right now in this phase and stage of my life? And if it's not, that's okay. Reach out for support, reach out for help with learning how to rewrite some of those stressors, rewrite some of that cultural script that has created challenges right now.
Wow, as you express rewriting, that means that we are building new legacy where we're not silence. We're speaking out. We're recognizing what we feel. We're recognizing that we need rest. And so what we're doing is we're building a new legacy. And the legacy that we're building now is a healthy legacy because your mental health matters.
And I like that. I just remember with my kids tell me things like, Ma, that's old school. We don't do that anymore. So whether you're a parent or simply healing your own wounds, you're not alone. So keep doing the work and keep showing up for yourself.
So, thank you guys so much for listening this week. And this is Just Me Podcast, just real, just seen, just healed. So until next time, take care of yourself so that we can all take care of each other, guys.
And don't forget to subscribe and share our episodes. Follow us on social media at Just Me Podcast.
Join us next week for our final session in this series, Finding Balance and Authenticity.
Thank you so much for listening to Just Me Therapy podcast. If you are seeking further one-on-one diagnoses, interventions, and treatment plans, please consider scheduling an appointment with an individual counselor at Journeys Counseling Center, located in Greensboro, North Carolina. Journeys can be reached at 336-294-1349. The mission of Just Me Therapy podcast is to use authentic conversations to uplift one's mind, body, and soul. The goal of Just Me Therapy is to offer affordable education and insight to individuals who experience financial barriers to accessing individualized behavioral health care services. With that being said, the information, including opinions, advice, and recommendations discussed in this podcast, are intended for individual, informational, and educational purposes only. Such information is not intended to substitute the recommendations of your own licensed therapist or healthcare professional. Although we are licensed behavioral health professionals, we are not your licensed behavioral health professional. As a result, the advice mentioned on this podcast should not replace the recommendations offered by your own qualified health professional.